In 8th grade, section 8.4, we're dealing with rate of change. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to describe how the quantity changes in relation to another quantity. Okay? So it can be positive, negative, or zero. For example, if I travel, the amount of miles that I travel, the more miles I travel, the more gas I spend. So it's a positive. As one increases, the other increases. If, for example, I'm doing the more miles I travel, the closer I am to the destination. Well, then my destination gets lower, so as one increases, which is the miles I travel, the other decreases, and that's called a negative, right? I'm getting closer and closer. Zero can represent just no movement. So the more miles I travel, if I travel no miles, and I travel, sorry, that's the bell. If I travel no miles, then I don't spend any money, no gas. If I don't go anywhere, then I don't get closer to my destination. So as it's flat, this is, it means that it's zero. There's no slope, there's no change, rate of change. So the distance that Amy travels during a week is shown below. So here's what she travels. In 3 days, she travels a distance of 174 miles, okay? In 7 days, she travels a distance of 406. Now we're trying to find the rate of change. Now, it is important to first identify what is my independent and what is my dependent variable. And so by doing that, what depends on the other? Well, the distance, okay, depends on the days. The days will keep going no matter what, but the distance, if the days don't happen, then the distance won't happen. So this is my independent, sorry, this is my dependent because it depends on the time. So this is my independent, and this is my dependent. So my independent is my x, and this is my y, okay? So so for my rate of change, it's going to be the rate of change for my dependent over the rate of change for my independent. Make sure you keep this in mind. The rate of change of my dependent and the rate of change for my independent. So, let's focus on this. How much does 3 to 7 change? Well, if I'm going to go from 3 to 7, it increases 4 days. Right? And then if I'm going to go for miles, the dependent, sorry. We're going to start with miles. My apologies. So the dependent is I'm going from 174 miles to 406 miles. So what does it change? Well, it increases, I know that for sure. And then I'm going to subtract 406. So it increases 232 miles. Okay? So then, that's my dependent. It's going to be over my independent, which moves from 3 days to 7 days. So this also increases 4 days. So it increases 4 days. If it was decreasing, then these would be negative values, but then increasing. So I have 232 miles over 4 days, which 232 divided by 4, I'm going to divide this now, is going to be 58 miles per day. See how that works? I divide this, right, and then I end up with miles per day. So 58 miles per day. So I'm comparing here in the rate of change how many days to how much traveled. Okay, so go ahead and write this down. I have one more board. So number 2, it says Natalia is selling cookies. The table below shows the relationship between the hours spent selling and number of cookies that remain. Find the rate of change. Interpret its meaning. So in this case, it gives us 3. Okay? In order for you to do rate of change, you just need to focus on, you can only focus on 2 at a time. Okay? So if I'm going to go from 0 hours, I'm going to focus first from here to here. What is the rate between 0 to 3 hours? Okay? So 0 to 3 hours. I'm looking for the rate of 0 to 3 hours. So I know that my hours is the one that continues. So this is my independent, and this is my dependent. So the equation is dependent, rate of change is a dependent over the independent. So I'm only focusing on these 2 right now. So the change of the dependent is from 40 to 100. So that means I decrease 60 cookies. Okay? For the hours, I'm going to 0 to 3. So I increase 3 hours. So my equation is decrease, so it's negative 60 over negative 60 cookies over 3 hours, which gives me 60, this would be negative 20 cookies per hour. So far from here, I'm losing negative 20 cookies per hour. So I went from 100 to 40. So that means I'm selling 20 cookies per hour. I started off with 100, and then every hour I've gotten rid of 20, hence negative 20, because I'm getting less. You can always say you can also say it the other way, the customer's getting more, but I'm getting less cookies because I'm selling more of them. All right? This would be 5 to 0 hours. Great. So I'm focusing on the next step here. So these 2. Remember, I need only 2. I can't focus on 3 at a time. I'm only focusing from 2 points, the rate, okay? The rate between 2 points. All right, so my dependent, I'm going from, so I can do it shorthand now because I have all the work here. So I do 40 to 0, so I lost negative 40, and then 3 to 5 means I go up 2 hours. So I end up with negative 20 cookies per hour. So you see how both gave me the same negative 20? So even if I didn't do it in a row, even if I just did it here, you don't have to do each step for every one. You just have to pick 2 points. It can be these 2, it can be these 2, it can be any 2. It doesn't matter which points that you choose. So, so when you're faced with this in your assignment, make sure you don't have to do it multiple times. Just pick 2, whether it's the first 2, last 2, or like the first and last, and then just focus on the rate of change between those 2 points. So go ahead and write this down. Try page 421, number 3, 421, number 3, and I will see you in class.